All I got is that.
Man, what?
Listen up, I'm getting shot.
I'm not in the way of these bullets, man. I don't know how the fuck they was acting like I was getting shot up.
Cool, I'm about to come back behind you.
Because I ain't got no fucking bullet, dog.
He probably trying to find something to heal with. What the f, bro? Nigga trying to punch you, boy.
Bitch, hey, one side.
He chasing your ass. Let's
Got
go!
him, baby.
KO, bitch!
With the fist. Had to put them hands on him real quick.
Nigga trying to come in my ground.
I punched him from behind and then I waited for him to turn around.
I never experienced death.
I need help.
Hell yeah. I sure as hell ain't had no gun.
KO'd his ass.
Hey, somebody had to punch him out.
What's going on, guys? You're back here with Bryant, the Apex Gamer channel, and bringing you a different type of video today, bringing you an Apex Legends video. I know if you've been following the channel, you probably caught a couple of the Apex Legends streams, or at least saw the VOD on the channel and the uploads, but I've been playing the game a little bit, not crazy amount, but I was playing it on console the other night, and I decided, because the team that we were playing with, the people I was playing with, they picked my character, so you saw me playing, I was playing as Wraith, but they picked my main basically, so I had to kind of figure out what to do and play as another character. So I decided to give Lifeline a good old college try, and here are the things I kind of picked up. I'm just gonna kind of freeform talk to you about the things I picked up while putting some clips in the background. It's just the gameplay that we got a few amount of wins, so we did pretty good. But we're just gonna go through Lifeline and kind of talk about her prospectively and what I learned in the time I spent with her, because it was about 4 hours I spent with her. So the first thing I noticed with Lifeline right off, as you saw in the first clip, I've engaged from a longer range out, because with Lifeline, she doesn't really have the get out of jail free card like Wraith does, where you can run up and try to blast somebody, and if it doesn't work, you can just dart off. You kind of really have to cover shoot with her. And it's because she's so vulnerable. She's such an easy target because she doesn't have any sort of defensive mechanism that she can just employ at any given time. If she could throw her knockdown shield, which I've seen people do before, throw the shield when you're trying to res someone and then use that to block shots. But if you can do that out in the open just anytime, that would be a whole different situation. But that's not the case with her. So you kind of have to mix and mingle when you take that opportunity. And me being a Wraith player, I kind of fumble that a lot of times. As you saw in that clip, the second clip, I ran up, bust a shotgun shot, bust another shotgun shot, and then immediately had to duck and cover. And then I couldn't come out while fire was coming in, the suppressing fire. I had to try to cover shoot and move around. And as you see in this clip here, where I'm about to rush the team, I'm looking for an angle to cover shoot. That person gave me the angle by going behind a rock, so I immediately just run up on her and try to hurry up and get the quick elimination, get her down real quick. And as you can tell, the storm is coming in. Bangalore, she put her ult out there, so it's a real hectic situation, and my team is currently down. But because of the situation so hectic, Lifeline can kind of thrive in that situation too, because people don't really have sight on you anymore. Once they've lost the general sight of you, you're pretty good with her. You can move around just the same as you would with any other character, but out in the open, when she's exposed, she is completely and utterly vulnerable. She doesn't have the voices like Wraith does, so you don't know if someone's aiming at you unless Wraith tells you someone's aiming at you, and you don't have any sort of quick defensive option. So if bullets pour in on you, you just don't have that option to defend immediately. So it's kind of, like I said, you kind of got to play her safe and be very, very particular about when you burst out into the open, especially when you know that there is a gunfight going on. You can't burst out into the open at any given point. You have to really cover shoot with her, and it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the hardest thing to do with, because she is a smaller character, so it's a little harder to hit her. It's not as easy to hit her as it would be to hit Gibraltar or Caustic, because they're bigger, they're more distinguishable. She just kind of blends in because she's so fast. If she had skins that were like brown colored, like I think she might have a couple, that would probably be even a better bet to pick with her. Skins that will match the terrain a little bit, maybe browns or greens, something a little harder to pick out, especially when you're playing on console, because this was on PS4, so all the gameplays you're seeing here are PS4 Pro gameplays, and so it is interesting. So that is the main thing I kind of learned with her, is that me personally, being so gung-ho and aggressive in shooters, I always just try to bust in and immediately pop shots with shotguns. With her, it's really, you got to play the cover shooter. Like here, I duck the corner, I immediately throw my heal because I took a lot of damage. I don't know when they're coming out, and that bloodhound picks her head up and immediately gets blasted in the face and put down because she really couldn't see me because I crouched in the grass. I was behind an obstruction, and the character had to, like, the person who turned the corner had to physically turn the corner and then sight me and then aim at me, all in the amount of time it just takes me to fire shots because I already had the angle and I was healing at that angle. So little plays like that are key with this character. You have to find opportunities to really utilize the arena. You use the area around you, get cover, get yourself completely out of the line of sight, and if you've taken any sort of damage, just immediately pop your heal, have it sitting on you, have it chilling next to your body, because otherwise you're just so susceptible, you're just so wide open, anything can happen to you. So that's kind of the thing that I learned about her, and I learned it through trial and error. That's I can promise you that. There's several clips that I cut and didn't use that I got down because I was just so aggressive, and I ran into situations and jumped on people when I couldn't kill them, or like I run in people's faces with the wrong types of guns and just couldn't get the damage off. So being a type A person, like being an aggressive mindset, putting the attack on people, always wanting to be first, is really not what you do with her. And she's not even defensive in nature. She's defensive in the sense that she's support for the rest of the team, but she's more covert. Like I said, you can pull off some fancy plays here and there. If you have a knockdown player and someone trying to push a room, you can use the player who's knocked down so that you can pop your shield to protect them, and then use that as opportunity to pop the shield and then blast the opponent, pop the shield, blast the opponent, that type of situation. As you see right here in this clip, like I have this person on the back foot, last player of the game, taking tons of damage. I'm putting as much damage as I can on her. The zone is coming. My team is completely out of the zone, so I don't have to worry about it. She's the last player on her team, and there's no way she's making it to the zone with the amount of damage I put on her. So I just balls to the wall, screw it. I know I'm gonna get down because I have 8 shots on an EVA 8 and whatever on my clip for that carbide I had. So it's a sacrifice play. This character is more than capable of making them. If I would have covered and healed and popped my shield like I did the play before, I might have downed her cleanly and not had to rely on the storm or rely on my teammates to try to get her as she came in. But I didn't make the play, basically. I just didn't make the read fast enough. But what I did make was still cumulative enough to do enough damage to get them out of there. So she's an interesting character. I don't mind playing her often because what she does offer is so different and unique to the rest of the players, because I don't have to carry a bunch of heals because I can pop a heal at any given moment. But I find that my best games with her, I don't even have a bunch of ammo. I'll have just enough. I'll have maybe 100 rounds on whatever burst weapon I'm using, or long range weapon, whatever I'm using. So my weapons, I might have 100 rounds apiece. So basically 2 slots in the backpack of each sets of rounds. And then everything else is seal shells, everything else is syringes, everything else is shield batteries. If I can carry a Phoenix kit, I've got 1 or 2, because I just find that I'm always in a situation where if I get seen by anybody, I'm taking damage because I can't get out of the way fast enough. But if I do survive that exchange, if I have enough heals in my backpack, I don't even care, because I know I'm gonna be able to heal back up all the way to full health. And that's pretty much how I run her. I don't run a big loadout or a whole bunch of bombs. Every now and again I might keep an arc star or a grenade, but for the most part I load the deck with her with straight up heals, just so I can protect myself in any little instance. But that's just kind of a general thing that I just kind of do that I feel works for her. With other characters that you're planning on using, like fast rapid weapons, like you're planning on using any sort of carbide, any sort of like fast unloading weapons, obviously with Wraith you're going to carry a bunch of shotgun ammo, a bunch of AR ammo, whatever AR you're using, whether it's heavy or light, whether it's a hemlock or not, you're going to carry a bunch of that. And that's just kind of how you survive with those characters, and you can do it. But with her, your backpack, like I play her backpack, I pretty much load it with heals. If I can get a high-end knockdown shield, because like I said, once she is exposed, she is completely vulnerable. She's completely vulnerable, and in some situations you're still vulnerable even with a good knockdown shield. Like right here, I try to use gold knockdown shield because I ran in the room, killed 2 players, and then my team killed that 3rd player, and I assumed that was the last player of any team that was there. But apparently it was 2 players on one team. When I killed them, they both died immediately. That player was from a different team, and another player was in there with him. So it was in shambles. I had to, I got downed and he immediately thirsted, but I would say it's kind of annoying when somebody immediately thirsts like that, but you kind of got to do it, especially if you don't know how many people are around. So you kind of have to do it. It's kind of, you know, it's par for the course. It's ugly, but it's, you know, an essential evil. And she immediately gets thirst. But my team, they are able to deliver me to the respawn beacon, and you know, that kind of helps. You know, so it helps that they deliver me to the respawn beacon. And another big thing with her is she has like zero survivability when it comes down to bad cuck situations. And that's why I left this part of the clip in, because this is all from one gameplay. Obviously the gameplay where I ran in the room at not bunker but at market and killed those 2 players and then got down. This is the immediate like respawn after that. My team had to kind of like move around to get the respawn off. They get the respawn off, and now I'm out. And I have no reason to assume that this house is taken because it's completely closed and there's no reason to see it taken. Of course, 2 players, camp in the room, camp in the corner. I'm immediately out the door, trying my best to just get far enough away to where they can't see me. I even perched there. First shot to touch me, I'm immediately on the ground. I came back with, you know, full 100 health, but as soon as she's touched by shots, she's completely vulnerable, completely susceptible to damage. I have no ammo, no bullets, and I'm just basically calling out instruction from my team so that they can find the player that was able to get the down on me, because it was a very sketchy situation in a game that we were doing fairly well. As you can tell, I have 4 kills at this point. My team, they're spreading the kills out between them too. So it's a high kill gameplay for a 3-man team. So it's one of those situations, and I kind of knew that was a risk when I came down. My team was very far in front of me, and I just had to take this building because I just wanted to see if there was by chance loot in it. There was, but there was players attached to that loot, so you know, it is what it is. No biggie. But with her, like I said, if you can survive, once I got back up and picked up the loot, my character is completely kitted. I have everything I need. I pop my drone, res my team. I pop my drone and heal my team up, and now we're back on the road and we have full health, full kits, completely loaded, because she just brings that extra element to the team, that extra thing that you just aren't really thinking you need like that until you're in a situation where you're like, okay, not only can she just heal everybody at once. It's kind of like in an RPG where your character finally learns the cure spell that cures the whole team. At first, you're just selfishly trying to survive. All you want to do is keep yourself in the fight. The longer you keep yourself in the fight, obviously, you don't have to restart the match. But when you get that curaga, you know, the curaga like Kingdom Hearts, you throw that curaga down, everybody's got heals. Even if it's not full heal for everybody, it's still enough to get everybody up and running. And that's kind of what she offers to the team. And that's why I don't mind playing her, because especially when I'm playing on console, I'm playing on control, my aim isn't exactly 100%, so I can't really just be rushing everything. So this character offers something different and a reason to stay back. She gives you the reason to hang back and wait for your shots and wait for your angles and wait for the correct opportunity, because you know that if you make a bad play and you just run out gung-ho, guns blazing, and you try to immediately eliminate somebody, you are about to get smoked and there's no survival. And if there's no one near you to res you, you can't even get your lifeline package off. If I can get, like, if she can somehow throw her drone while she was down, that would just be so broken. So it doesn't work like that. Once she's down, she's down. Her drone is useless. Her deploy, her care package completely out of your reach, and you can't do anything about it. So you're just on the ground at the mercy of the game. And because she doesn't have that speed like Wraith, or that the sense that Wraith has, or the when she's being shot at passive, she can just move faster like Bangalore. She doesn't have any of that immediate defense. She has no immediate survivability, and that changes. That completely alters the way you have to play her. But it's a welcome change, especially on console. Like I said, I don't have the best aim when I'm playing on a controller. My aim is kind of in shambles when I'm on a controller, and it's just kind of, I expect it to be like that, because I mostly play shooters on PC now that I've crossed over, because I'm just so used to having access to like aim trainers and working on my aim and actually trying to increase my hand speed and things of that nature. And you really don't have that opportunity on console, which is kind of unfair. But back to Lifeline, playing her the way I'm playing her in these gameplays is clutch. Like, I'm in this game right here, I'm sitting back on a hill. We're fighting a long range fight against a team that does not want to come down. I have a weapon for close range if it just happens to get there, because I'm holding a Mastiff, which I don't even get a chance to use in this gameplay, and I'm holding a longbow with the legendary scope, and there's the win. I get to snipe on the player that was up the hill, cleaned him up, downed him, killed him before they can be rezzed, and then my team just pushed the last player that was still up there surviving, and we immediately get the win. So it's one of those hairy situations, especially when I ran in that room. because that happened right before. If I wouldn't have ran in that room and got smoked out, I would have never got that loot, and we'd have played that hill entirely wrong, and we'd have had an entirely different conclusion if I would have had the loot I had before that going into that last little skirmish with those players.
Fuck, bro. My life flashed before my eyes when I ran in that building with no guns.
Bruh, when we was at market, I knew you was about to run into him, bruh. Like,
but that basically concludes what I want to talk about for Lifeline. I got a few little clips left over at the end from the same session of games with a different little wing clip, another little video to watch before the video ends. But she's fun to play. Just in conclusion, she's a fun character to play, but you have to taper your expectations and change your approach and be more not defensively minded. Well, kind of. I mean, not defensive because you can't actually defend. More evasively minded. Don't put yourself in situations where you're out exposed. Look for natural cover, natural terrain. Immediately hug walls, hug mountains, because once that character is seen or spotted, she is in trouble. She is not the kind of character that can get spotted and still get out of the way before she takes any sort of damage, because she will get smoked out if she ends up in a room or exposed or in any sort of peril, basically. So that concludes this video. It's been Bryant, the Apex Gamer channel, keeping it real, keeping it locked, doing what I can in whatever game I can, and trying to bring you some content that you can all enjoy. Hopefully, let me know in the comment section how you feel about the game, if you played it, and who's your main.
Bro, I walked in the room, I was holding the shotgun, and then my fists were out.
bruh. Oh my god. Oh.
Hey, Nico, if you'd have lost that bit, bro, you wouldn't have heard the last of it.
I know, right? Bro, I walked in the room and started punching. I was like, what the fuck?